let's play a little Slay the Spire and be salty about the YouTube partnership program changes. You know, because the dime a day YouTube was paying me to put my content up here apparently is breaking the bank for them. Little bit salty. Can't blame him. Really happy Wednesday, chat. I was actually worried. We're going to play a run as the silent. I was actually concerned that the changes to the partnership program might just preclude me from doing a channel at all, but I did some additional research, and video length is no longer tied to partnership. It used to be you couldn't post a video that was longer than 15 minutes unless you were a partner. Seems they rolled that back, and the length thing is now no longer linked to partnership, so good. That's fun. I enjoy having a hobby, and I'm glad that Google didn't just arbitrarily decide to take it away from me. Because, you know, Logan Paul likes posting pictures of dead body, and PewDiePie likes dropping racial slurs. Thank you for not taking away my hobby for that. I mean, it's not like I was making fat ducats on YouTube. In fact, the dime a day thing wasn't really an exaggeration. But you know what? If I gotta effectively pay them a dime a day for that, it's fine. Just all my videos were getting demonetized anyway because I say the word fuck a lot. Let's start off. Hey, it's Jimmy the Space Whale. What's up, Jimmy the Space Whale? I hope your day is going a little bit better than Perfidious Pete. The demonetization is quite stupid. See, that's the thing, chat. I don't actually fault YouTube for what they're doing. I understand their business model, which is they need it small enough that they can curate it and pay attention so that advertisers will actually advertise on the site. It has, I get what they're going for. Jim Sterling, if you guys are interested, actually did a very, very astute piece on it today. His analysis was, I think, probably spot on. What YouTube, we're gonna, let's see, random card, no, max HP plus 7, is tempting. If I knew what curse it was, I might take a curse for, you know what, I'm actually gonna take a curse for a random rare relic. Okay, Clumsy's not that bad, and we got Peace Pipe, sweet, okay, it's pretty good. But here's the thing, what YouTube is going for is they're trying to get, they want the same amount of currency, but from a much smaller pile. They don't want to take a tiny bit from 1 billion people. What they want instead is a bigger chunk from, say, 1 million. They want to reduce the amount of legwork they have to do, effectively. Hello, Brian. Hey, welcome to the stream. They're trying to reduce the amount of legwork. Rather than making $1 off of 1,000 people, they'd rather make $10 off of 100. And I get it. It's a more effective business model. It's the one that makes sense for Google. YouTube has not been doing well lately. They've been posting some pretty significant losses, and I feel like this probably is what they need to bring it back a little bit, which is fine. And like I said, this is my hobby. I don't do this for the money. I feel sorry for creators who actually need the money, but I mean, I've got a job and whatnot, so I don't do this trying to cash in. It's just like I said, this for me is only ever a hobby. That's all I ever intended it to be. And YouTube, you know, it's not going to exist at all if Google can't make money off of it. If YouTube is not turning a profit, the service itself will go away. They need the ad money, so they don't really have a choice. It does kind of suck. I'm just, you know, it's problematic for the afflicted creators if they were done. The only thing I can see that I really disagree with about their decision is that it does harm, I think, smaller creators. Not in that it takes away their, you know, they have a platform. Okay, I've got a little cognitive dissonance. One, small creators wouldn't have a platform at all if YouTube didn't exist. Whether it's paying them or not, they wouldn't even have an outlet were it not for YouTube. So they need to, you got to kind of be thankful of that. But the one thing that it does do that I disagree with, taking away monetization from smaller creators does harm them for one very specific reason. The YouTube suggested algorithms, when it tries to figure out what videos you might like to watch and then suggest one to you, those algorithms are very heavily weighted to prefer monetized content over non-monetized content, which means that people who are already sort of making it are going to be the ones that continue to get noticed, whereas if you're a smaller creator, your content is going to have a much more difficult time finding an audience. That's really my only objection to it, is it makes what's already difficult on YouTube, because finding an audience is already problematic if you're small, and it makes that problem, it just exacerbates it. It makes it more difficult for new content creators to get discovered so that they can get to the point where their videos are even eligible for monetization. That's my main objection to it, is it punishes those who are already not necessarily doing extraordinarily well. And it punishes them to the benefit of people who are already, by and large, being very successful. But again, YouTube doesn't have a choice. They have to do it. Their service needs to make money, and if the way they think they can make money is to capitalize on the people that are already successful and double down on the horses that are already pulling the weight, well, I mean, they've got a point. You can't fault them from saying, hey, we've got 2 horses in the race here. One is running at a breakneck pace, and the other one is barely mobile, and it doesn't even look like he could limp his way to the glue factory. You got to put your money on the smart horse. What the hell is this game? We're playing Slay the Spire, Silk Monkey. It is a card-building roguelike. It's sort of like, if I had to describe it, I would say it's much like Hearthstone meets FTL, I guess would be the most appropriate mashup. We get to pick a card here because we did win a fight. What do we want? What do we have in our deck already? I'm barely paying attention to the game here, and I'm mostly bitching about the changes to the YouTube partnership program. Which, honestly, I mean, most of this audience is on Twitch anyway. So, hey, let's talk about the Twitch business model, which actually seems rock solid and much, much better than the YouTube ad-supported one. Twitch just takes a portion of the income it earns and says, let's cut it like that. The game is really good, Silk Monkey. Chat is not wrong. Slay the Spire is fantastic, and it's fantastically addictive, so much so that I can't even stop playing it. So we got our standard strikes and defense.
Pickles, was that a sub?
Tim Clancy, thanks very much for the subscription. I appreciate it. Let's get some stabbies in chat for Tim. Timmy! Welcome. So, what do we want to do here? I mean, Slice is okay. I really like it when our first... Clock Tower, thanks very much for the bits as well. Let's get some stabbies for Clock Tower, too. I really like it when the first card you get is sort of a signature card and you can start to immediately focus your deck on something in particular. Reaver119, hey, welcome to the stream. We don't really have that choice with this draw, though. Deflect is a decent card. Slice is also a decent card. Setup is a rare, which is interesting. It's just not very good. If you have a really expensive card, setup can be great, because you could set up like a choke or something. The problem is, currently, we don't really have any expensive cards. But maybe we could... You know what? Let's take setup. For 1 energy, you can take a card out of your hand, throw it on the top of your deck, and it costs 0 until you play it. So maybe we can start focusing some more expensive cards. See, like, we don't have anything that costs more than 1, so setup for us here is, like, not useful. Also, we're just going to go ahead and kill that man. And since we don't need any defense, this guy isn't attacking. Let's go ahead and shoot him up, too. But I do have to say, when it comes down to the whole Twitch versus YouTube thing, the Twitch business model seems much, much more solid. It's just like, hey, we're going to take a portion of everything that you earn. We've got a service, we're going to provide it, we'll let anybody use the service, and whatever they happen to earn, we take a cut. That seems much, much more stable than we're going to try and sell ad space on potentially unknown content. Because that's the thing about Twitch is, before you spend your money on Twitch, you have a pretty good idea what you're getting into. I mean, Twitch content, you're not subbing to somebody whose stuff you've never seen. You know what you're getting when you pay for Twitch content. We're going to take 3 damage here. We've got a lot of frail on us, which is why our block didn't block for as much as it should have. Alright, you're dead then. Second fight one. And what Twitch does is just like, hey, we're gonna take a chunk of that. Heal Hook. If the enemy is weak, we gain energy and draw a card. Heal Hook basically is just free damage, but we have to have somebody who's weak to capitalize on that. Prepared is okay. Draw a card, discard a card, but this would be a... You know what? Prepared synergizes fairly nicely with our setup, though, doesn't it? Because we could take a card for... A high energy card for 1 energy, drop it onto our deck, and then for 0, we could draw it back. You're subbing for 3 more years of Pete. Pete, talk about Valve. Not yet, Shinobi, but thank you for reminding. We will put Valve on the list as well. We'll talk about them, too. What about Valve? We were going to talk about the Valve business model and why they actually don't make video games anymore. Hey, Iskar, welcome to Strat. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to chat. We're going to upgrade 2 random cards for 14 HP. Hell yeah, we are. Survivor Plus is a good pick. The Strike Plus is useful. I'm never going to say no to free card upgrades. Even at 14 HP, that's still a pretty good pick for us. What did Valve do? It's actually more of what Valve didn't do, chat, in that they haven't released a video game in, like... Like a serious game, they probably haven't released in close to 10 years now, I want to say. When did TF2 come out? Okay, I guess we'll give them Portal 2 as sort of Valve's last major release. Portal 2 came out in, what, 2012? Was it 2012, 2013? They made games for the HTC Vive. I would argue that they made shovelware for the HTC Vive, but that doesn't differentiate it from any other... Doesn't really differentiate it from any other VR stuff, because by and large, it's mostly shovelware. We're gonna discard this defend. We don't need it. We'll go ahead and kill that, man. We could prepare it, but it doesn't do us any good. We're just gonna discard whatever we drop. Portal 2 was 2013. CSGO, I mean, okay, you're right. I'll give you CSGO, even though I feel like CSGO is more of a reskin than an actual new title. But CSGO was, what, 2014, I think? Why make games and risk them bombing when you could just make hats and sell them for real money? Well, you've sort of stumbled on to the point of my Valve discussion, Black Martian Colonist, is that, okay, we're leg sweep is good and it's high cost. We want leg sweep. But you've sort of stumbled into the CSGO equals hat economy, into the thrust of my argument here. There's a reason Valve doesn't make games anymore. Well, there's actually two. Okay, so we could set up leg sweep and have a leg sweep next turn. Do we need a leg sweep this turn? No, because we got block plus. So let's set up leg sweep. That goes on top of our pile. Now it costs 0. That costs us 1 energy. So how much damage we got incoming here? We got 12. Let's go ahead and Survivor. I think we'll ditch this Clumsy. Although we could have just let the Clumsy get chewed away and Ethereal would have made it vanish. Can we kill anything? Answer is no. I think we're going to go ahead and hit the Gremlin Wizard. And just end our turn. Dota and CSGO bring them so much money. You're right, but what makes them more money than Dota and CSGO is just peddling video games. I mean, Steam is what Valve is all on about now. Selling skins and sports games tournaments. But they're not really... Valve isn't really a game developer company anymore. They're not developers, they're distributors. That's what they do. They've just shifted focus. They're in a distribution method now. Valve are game distributors, not game makers. It's really just a different paradigm for them. They don't make games, they distribute games. Because it makes them more money. And also, the main part that you have to understand about Valve is how their corporate structure works, too. Which is a big part of why they don't make games anymore. So Valve employees, there's no real hierarchical organization. Basically, it's a very egalitarian setup, and everybody that's on the team at Valve, they're all equals. Anybody can hire anybody, and sort of once you're there, you don't really ever like get fired or go away. You just kind of work there forever. We're going to prepare because we need some block. Oh, good. We got Clumsy back. Fantastic. Well, I guess we'll just discard that then. We need both of these defends or we're going to get wrecked by the Gremlin Wizard here because we didn't get to him. How come we're weak for 3 turns? Who the hell has been weakening us? There's nothing we can do to stop this 25, but we can stop 4. Actually, we can't even stop 4. All right, Gremlin Wizard. We should have done that earlier. I'm talking about Valve here, and I'm not actually paying attention to what I'm doing. It's going to cost me this run. But it's a very egalitarian setup at Valve, and basically everyone are equals. And the only way they can get a project started is if they can get enough other employees to just sort of agree to work on the same thing. We kind of need to leg sweep this turn. You gotta die, first off. I'm tired of being weakened myself. We could set up the leg sweep for next turn and just go for a regular block. I mean, this is bad. We need to be doing damage here. You know what? We could just... No. Set up the leg sweep. Go for the regular defend. Let the poison work over the Gremlin Wizard. But everybody at Valve, in order to get a team together to work on a project, you just kind of have to get everybody to agree. You can pitch an idea and say, hey, I have this idea for a game. Who wants to work on it with me? I mean, they have to be able to get enough other people to actually get that project off the ground. That's how the corporate structure at Valve works now. It's not necessarily a great organizational structure for getting shit done, if you catch my drift. Because if nobody wants to do anything, and with Steam making money hand over fist, kind of nobody has to do anything. You're not going to see, I mean, there's never going to be a Half-Life 3, Chad. If you're waiting for Half-Life 3, or even a Portal 3, it's going to be a long wait for a train that never arrives. That game is never going to see the light of day, ever. Because Valve doesn't need to make it. You should see if you can interview over at Valve. That's the thing. If you know somebody at Valve, they can hire you. You know a guy who works there. Well, if you know a guy who works there, then theoretically he could get you on, because that's how their shit works. These draws are terrible. All right, put some weak on this dude. I guess we don't really need any more blocks, so we may as well set up a what? I don't know, a defend? Just end my turn. No, shit. Artifact Disappointment of the Year. Valve has a Hearthstone-esque game coming out, something that nobody asked for. I'm not surprised. It's something that nobody asked for because it was probably one of the things that one of their project leads could get off the ground. He's like, hey, you guys want to do like a CCG like Hearthstone? And somebody was like, yeah. And 3 or 4 of them sat down and knocked it out. A Hearthstone-like game for the Dota universe. Makes sense. So this gremlin gets stronger every time we hit him. That's his ability. He has aggressive or rage or angry or something. Yeah. Every time we hit him, he gains a strength, which means he hits for 1 more damage. It's not going to save him. Also, we can mitigate some of that by weakening him as well. This fight was terrible for us, though. All right, so enough talking about Valve. Let's get back to focusing on the game at hand. But, you know, we'll just end this little caveat by saying if you guys are waiting for a Half-Life 3 or another Portal sequel, or honestly anything significant at all from Valve, it's going to be a long wait for a train that never arrives. It really is. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. So we got to rest because we're really low on HP and we have to fight an elite. On the plus side, we did pick up Choke, which has a nice synergy for our setup. Now we can set up a Choke. This is going to be a tough fight. Multiple enemies are really kind of the silence. They're a bit of the weak spot for the silence. So let's throw the leg sweep. And then I think next turn we just set up a Choke. That's it. We take no damage this turn, and we set up to really work somebody over on our next turn. We are going to get a bunch of dazes in our deck, too. They saw how much money Hearthstone makes, and they said, yeah, we could do that. You're probably not wrong, chat. Can we kill anyone? Do we have enough damage to go fatal here? We get an extra 3 every time we choke a bitch out. But that just means these strikes are going to do 9, so we've only got 30 total. We are not going to kill anybody. So let's put the choke on this dude. And then instead of striking, I actually think we defend, because the defense still does damage, and we need the defense. Well, let's throw one at this guy. We got to get somebody knocked out of this pile as quick as possible. They changed this fight. I thought they used to wound you. They do daze. As far as I know, these guys have always done daze. You may be thinking of the slimes. The slimes are the ones that throw wounds. Okay, so we can kill this man. That saves us from having to defend for 8. We can throw our 11 block here, mill this defend, and just ditch prepared. No, they did change it. It used to be wounds. Changed from wounds to daze. I can understand that, because 3 guys throwing wounds at you would mean basically you get to a point where your deck would just be all daze. Wow, this kind of sucks. So we should definitely neutralize. We're not even going to get to weak, which licks. I think we just go 5 block and end our turn. You split 2 wound cards into your deck? Alright. I mean, I believe you, chat. Just, I don't remember. This fight would be dramatically more difficult if these were wound instead of daze. Because, you know, we'd have a handful of shit we could never get rid of. I'm still waiting for him to change the Book of Stabbing. Guy still seems like he's a little too powerful. Alright, so we can block for enough and still get an attack off this. No, don't discard that card, though. Discard that one. He could have discarded Dazed. I'd really actually rather not discard the Dazed, because if we leave it in our hand, it goes ethereal. We can actually mill it out of our deck this way. If we discard it, it goes back into our discard pile and gets shuffled back in. Alright, here's what we need. Give me that. Always sweep the leg, chat. What has Sensei John Kreese taught us? Sensei Kreese teaches us that you always sweep the leg. There is no fear in this dojo. There is no pain in this dojo. There is no defeat in this dojo. I mean, from the way this run is looking, there's probably maybe a modicum of defeat in this dojo. Well, it's going to save us some damage at least. I suppose we could set up a strike for next turn, or we could just use it. What am I going to set up a daze? Put 2 weak weak on that, man. Throw a defend. And once again, we would really like an opportunity to actually just do some damage here, game. That'd be nice. Give me flashbacks with all this Karate Kid talk. Dead Branch sort of counters days. I am not a fan of Dead Branch, per se. I've actually lost runs because of Dead Branch filling my hands with garbage I couldn't actually play. I'm sort of on the fence when it comes to Dead Branch. There are some synergies that make Dead Branch work really nicely, but it also has a lot of negative synergies as well. Dead Branch can be a run maker, or it can be a run breaker. It's one of those cards that really goes either way. Alright, we're gonna choke a bitch. We gotta get one of these guys killed. Then we're gonna survivor away this defend. Get rid of those dazes. And finally, we're gonna come back to the point where we're getting ahead of the daze. This guy doesn't daze us every round. For a 12-turn fight, we've really taken remarkably little damage. Choke a bitch out next turn. I need a defense, though. Yeah, that's not what I needed at all. That was a brilliant play, Pete. Good work. Dead Branch only really seems good in Ironclad exhaust decks. It has a place in a deck with like a lot of shivs in it as well. If you're doing a spam deck with the Silent and you're throwing a lot of shivs, you can pull cards out of the shivs. The problem is oftentimes if you do that a lot, you're going to wind up with a bunch of garbage that you can't get rid of. Alright, we finally got out of this freaking fight. Oh good, we got the Molten Egg for our treble. Boy, that's fantastic. Well, we're going to upgrade Neutralize. Pete, why didn't you upgrade Choke? Because honestly, upgraded Neutralize is way better. On the plus side, we did get Adrenalize, which is a fantastic card. Right, we got to go to the campfire and rest, because we're still all banged up. One good relic here, though. We can turn this around. The question is, do we fight another elite? You know what? I think the answer is yes, we need the relic. Also, it's probably going to be that Gremlin guy or Callum. Alright, that's an excellent relic. Anytime we don't have block at the end of our turn, we get 6 block. That's pretty solid. We got to rest again. We need to find a way to get some upgrades in this bad boy, though. Lightning. Reduce the cards of cost in your hand to 1. That's not a bad card. Bouncing Flask is also good. I don't suppose there's a Deadly Fumes up here. Is there Noxious Fumes? No. We could mill out our curse and still have enough for both choke and dash. Not quite. Bouncing Flask is also very good. Anything that's a 2, I think we buy dash. We mill away our card. We want to get rid of this curse. 1, it's a dead spot in our deck. I think we take Bouncing Flask. Remember, we're working the setup build here, so expensive cards for us are not a terrible thing. Flash of Steel. I do like Flash of Steel, but it doesn't really synergize well with what we're building in the deck so far here, Black Martian. Our goal is to set up something expensive, like a choke. So what we do here, let's set up a choke. Then we Adrenalize. We get our choke back, which is now free. We choke the shit out of a bitch. We hit him with the Bouncing Flask, throw a bunch of poison on him. Then we strike him too. That was a pretty solid first turn. We got good damage, 16 damage, and also we filled him full of 9 poison. That's a pretty good little start. There's the synergy we're looking for. Always sweep the leg, chat. We're going to defend because we don't want to take damage, and then we're going to just end our turn. Always sweep the leg. Weakness is such a big part of the game for the Silent. Keeping your enemies weak is supremely useful. You know what? Rather than strike him again, we got poison ticking on him. I say we block with the Survivor and go for the defend and actually just take nothing here. We're better off, I think, to take 0. We got the defense covered already. Let's let the poison do its job. You know what? We're going to set up a dash for next turn when we need defense. We're going to throw a Bouncing Flask here. Since he's not attacking, that's extra poison damage, and we're done. And remember, we do get 6 block at the end of our turn if we have no block as well. Mad Hatter, hey, welcome to the stream, man. Alright, so we're going to neutralize because it's damage and it's free. Then we're going to dash because it's also free. Then we're going to sweep the leg because you always sweep the leg. Give him a little bit of strike. We got this one. We did better against this elite than we did against those random 4 gremlins. The 4 gremlins actually gave us a harder time than this guy did. Yeah, get chopped up. We gutted that man like a fish. The Juju bracelet is really good. Let's talk about the Juju bracelet for a minute, chat, shall we? Why is this item so good, Pete? Well, getting rid of combats and question mark rooms means 2 things. 1, question mark rooms are always safe, so you don't actually have to worry about getting your ass killed. And 2, you get more events. More events means more things like relics, more treasure, more bonuses. It just makes question mark rooms super useful. We're taking Eviscerate here. Why take Eviscerate? Because we can make it free. That's why. It's going to be a 0 oftentimes. First run or second run of the night? This is our first run of the night. We got a little distracted at the beginning of the stream talking about YouTube and Valve. Alright, so you have the least health. We're probably not going to be able to kill you. Somebody needs to get neutralized. I'm picking you, because you're hitting us for 6. That leaves us 15 damage incoming, which we could... You know what? Let's block it all. Let's block it all, wait for one of these guys to grow, and see if we can't get it down. Or alternatively, we could just roll into enough strikes to kill them all now, too. Since we threw the potion with 3 strikes, these guys all die. What's your favorite relic in this game? Early Snecko Eye? No. I greatly dislike Snecko Eye. I actually think it's one of the shittiest trinkets in the game. If you get Snecko Eye early, it can be fantastic. And by fantastic, I mean it can be a straight-up run winner by itself. But getting Snecko Eye, unless you get it right away and can build your whole deck around it, it's kind of bad. One of my favorite trinkets in the game is actually just Mark of Pain. +1 energy and you get 2 wounds in your deck. It's really good. I'm also quite fond of Lizard Tail. Lizard Tail, I think, is straight up a god tier relic. I also really like Paper Frog, and I really like Paper Crane. They're both very good. We gotta take Noxious Fumes, though. We've got a defense deck. Now we can get some Noxious Fumes, and it seems like now we're going for a high energy cost poison build. Find some potions. Hell yeah. Block potion. I will absolutely get rid of you for a Swift potion, without a doubt. Always take the Taylor Swift potion. When Taylor Swift comes a-calling, you answer. We upgrade Adrenalize here. Cost 0, gain 2 energy, draw 2 cards, exhaust. It's an easy pick, but you know what else is an easy pick? Noxious... you know what? I'm doing Noxious Fumes. The best build for a silent deck? Okay, well, the best build for a silent deck, Pac-Man, is actually just Noxious Fumes and defense. Noxious Fumes and defense will kill pretty much anything in the game without a whole lot of trouble. So we're going to set up a leg sweep here next turn. We could go for the leg sweep now. We just kind of don't need it. Do we want to use Adrenalize now? I think we wait. We're still okay. Pete's wrong unless you like being bored. I'm not wrong. The build works. It is dull and unexciting. I will give you that, chat. The Noxious Fumes is a boring build, but it does work. Any cards to look for other than Noxious Fumes? If you're going for Noxious Fumes build, you want cards like Leg Sweep. You want cards like Dash. Anything that has a poison synergy or is otherwise poison effective. Solitaire Silent is effective. I also really like spam builds with just like going for a whole bunch of cheap free attacks, like a bunch of shivs. Those also work very well. Silent's got a couple viable builds. Really, for the Silent, the best strategy is just look and see what the game is giving you and then try to adapt. Just try to come up with something for what you got. It's one of those lemons and lemonade kind of things. You got to look and see if the game's throwing you lemons, then you got to get out the sugar in the pitcher and put your little stand up next to the side of the road and rely on your own innate patheticness to get people to buy lemonade. That's the Perfidious Pete method. All right, so we're definitely getting Noxious Fumes. I'd prefer to not take damage, and we don't have enough energy to make Choke really work for us. Let's go ahead and Survivor. We'll dump the Choke and just hit him with a regular strike. Nightmare and Adrenalize is also quite a good combination. We've had some success with that as well. If you can Nightmare and upgrade it Adrenalize, it gets you 1 billion cards and 1 billion damage. Just 10 damage with some block, hit you with our upgraded strike. Who doesn't like a good joke? Chris Cornell, that's who. Bam! Take that, chat. Alright, I think we set up an Eviscerate. We're going to take a lot of damage here. Do we have a weak potion? No, but we do have a block potion. You know what? Drink it. Then I think we just whip you with the Bouncing Flask. And old Hexaghost is taking 20 damage a turn here. We're going to have no trouble wearing this guy down. Sounds like a fun build. Do you know any tricks of consistently getting to the 3rd floor? One of the things that I had trouble learning early, Pac-Man, that I finally came around to, is don't necessarily fight a lot. Like, if you can avoid combat, you're probably better off to avoid combat. We're going to eviscerate here. The thing about the question mark rooms is, barring the absence of a Juju bracelet, a question mark room can still be a fight. So you can, if you need cards or something, you can still get those from question mark rooms, but a fight is only ever a fight. If you go into a room that's combat, all you're ever going to get out of that room is just combat, which you may or may not necessarily need. I think we Adrenalize here. Fantastic. We're rolling deep on the defense. It doesn't really matter. This guy's still dead. But I tend to favor question mark rooms over basically every other kind of room. Only go to shops, of course, if you have enough money to really get something valuable out of it. Get rid of this prepared. I'm kind of regretting having taken that prepared. We're not really using it. And once again, now that we've got this guy weakened for 4, we can just go into full rope-a-dope meta. I'm Cassius Clay. I'm gonna lay here on the ropes and taunt you into killing yourself, a Hexaghost. Come on over. Good shit. It doesn't matter. This guy's dead. Here, we'll set up and defend. We are still going to take that burn damage. It doesn't really matter, though, because this fight is over, and we heal the full at the start of the next play. At least 2 hundo for a shop. Most of the time, I would avoid a shop unless you have, like, 300 or 350. 200 is not really going to get you much. Phantasmal Killer is interesting because, again, we could combo that with setup very nicely, but 2 Adrenalizes is also good. Phantasmal Killer's drawback is that it's expensive. You know what? I think we take the Phantasmal Killer here. Don't you mean about 350? Yeah, if you have about 350 going into a shop, you should be in pretty good. What's your least favorite relic? You hate Orichalum because you forget it exists. My least favorite relic is Frozen Eye for pretty much the exact same reason. I never use it. Choose and transform 3 cards, then upgrade them. Not a terrible pick here. Pandora's Box is straight up hot flaming Garbo, though. Black Star is interesting. Pandora's Box is just one of those items you take once just so that you can say that you've had it and then you never take it again because it's a run ruiner. I'm tempted to pull Astrolabe here. We got a bunch of extra strikes and defends that are basically just dead weight in our deck. We could transform and upgrade all of those and maybe get something useful. Then again, we could also just get hot. Yeah, you know what? Black Star. Always invest in the future. Black Star is like buying into Bitcoin early. That shit's going to go up to 11,000 bucks a coin, and then we're going to have regret the fact that we didn't get in on the ground floor. So let's look at our path here. I like question mark fight, question mark elite. Plus, this path also gives us the chance to chicken shit out if we're really, really hurt for some reason. I think we go this way. So this is a really good first turn for us. We're going to Noxious Fumes this guy. You know what? I think we prepared here. We drew into a strike plus. Let's get rid of that Eviscerate. You know what? Adrenalize me. If we need... I wish I had not Adrenalized, because now all the block we need is going to be... We're not going to have it. We need it next turn, and now we don't have it. That sucks. Is Noxious Fumes just the silent farting? I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's got serious gastrointestinal problem. This game has a lot of bird-themed enemies. Yeah, they really do double up on the whole big bird is homeless kind of thing. So we're going to Bouncing Flask this one. Yes, chat, we could have gone for a Phantasmal Killer, but we don't have a lot of damage left in our deck, and there's no guarantee we were going to draw any next turn. I'd rather take the guarantee right now. We don't even need to defend, so... Getting 6 Orichalum. My least favorite room is the Champion Cleric one. What's yours? I actually don't have a problem with the Champion and the Cleric. The one that I hate the most is the Raspberry Swirl guy when he's got the plated... It's the Avocado Man and the Raspberry Swirl Donut. I hate the combination of Avocado Man and Raspberry Swirl Donut. I think we just choke defend here. Actually, nope. You know what? If we don't defend, we'll get more out of it because Orichalum will give us 6. So let's just choke strike then. We're going to take 9. Thought we agreed it was a donut hole. I don't like the donut hole bosses just because I think they're probably the hardest bosses in the game. It's not my least favorite room because you don't always fight the donut hole bosses. Again, there's no point in defending here unless we can get another defend. Well, you know what? Yeah, get rid of defend. And then let's just go with Viscerate Strike. That was enough to get us to Fatal. We did it, chat. No prepared. Yes, prepared, chat. That was how we got to free Eviscerate. That's why it's in there. Concentrate, I want to like you, but I don't know when you're good. Like a first turn Concentrate or a Concentrate plus the Swift Potion can be really, really nice. I'm tempted to take nothing here, but I haven't experimented with Concentrate much. Let's try it out. Hate the Spikes and Exploders. The Spikes and Exploding guys you can block through. They are irritating, I agree, but you can block through them. Pay 100 gold to get Jax? No, I don't want to get Jax, thank you. I've never had good luck with the Jax card, actually. This is the man I'm talking about. This is Avocado Man. I hate Avocado Man when he's paired with Raspberry Swirl Donut. Raspberry Swirl Donut and Avocado Man is worst combo. So we could discard 3 cards to get 2 energy. What 3 cards would we nuke? I don't want to get... You know what? I'm going to drink a Swift Potion. I will get rid of some of these, though. So let's concentrate. We're going to dump Eviscerate. Let's dump Defend. Although... Let me Eviscerate back. Dump Defend. Let me Strike. Then we're doing no damage. You're right. This man's going to hit us for 8. Get rid of Survivor. That makes Eviscerate cost 1. So we Phantasmal Killer for next turn. Then we Leg Sweep. Get him weakened. And then we can Eviscerate. We couldn't get the choke off, but hitting him multiple times is better than hitting him once because it drops his plated armor, making him weaker on future turns. The Raspberry Swirl Donut is an obnoxious piece of garbage when you're playing a Shiv deck. I would argue that he's an obnoxious piece of garbage pretty much 100% of the time. Well, we didn't really need to defend here. Let's just hit him with the Bouncing Flask. Get some poison working. Poison is great on this guy because it goes through his armor. Defending, once again, does us nothing. We're better off to just stick with Orichalum. So let's just strike him. The 12 didn't really do us anything either. Baked Potato is best potato. He looks more like a really old potato, Nava. He's green, chat. In what world are potatoes green? What the hell kind of potatoes are you eating that they turn green when they get moldy and the eyes start growing out of them? If you got a green potato, I would advise that you not eat it. He's definitely a hideously mutated avocado. This is an avocado, man. He's so much an avocado, I want to smear him on some toast points, really. I think we Adrenalize here. We're going to dash 10 damage and the block we need, and then we can just strike. Chew through a little bit more of that plated armor. Green means the potato is very bad for you. I think the waving arms and the legs and the gaping maw would also be an indicator that this is a potato that one should probably not eat. Always sweep the leg, chat. I mean, we could concentrate for no purpose, but it's just... In order to make concentrate really synergize for us, we're going to need some card draw. We need draw from something. Let's just, you know what? Just bouncing flash this man. He is definitely dead. We'll strike him because it's funny, and go ahead and die. Need more backflips for concentrate. Yeah, exactly right, Clark. That's what we need. We need card draw. Backflip would be a good pick. Skewer Plus could be okay with Energize. That could be one really big single target attack. With Adrenalize Plus, we could hit for 50 with a Skewer. I kind of feel like we take nothing here. I don't like skipping upgraded cards, but I really dislike Skewer. You know what? Well, if nothing else, Skewer is 10 damage for 1 energy, if you think of it that way. It's just a better version of a strike. At its worst, it's 10 damage for 1. Alright, fine. You've convinced me. 10 damage for 1 energy, I'll take it. Purple Fire Spirits. Offer, okay, so they will heal us to full if we give them a good card. Do we have a good card we really want to get rid of? You know, we could possibly give them a Skewer. If we give them a gold card, they will give us plus HP too. I think if we give them a green card, they just heal us. You know what? I'm Deacon Phantasmal Killer. They healed us to full and gave us 10 max HP. Attempt to sneak past a group of shrouded figures. A naked redskin man approaches. You got any Jack's friends? No, but I'll give you 85 gold because I'm not using it. You can give me the gremlin horn. Hell yeah, that's a fair trade. Love me some gremlin horn. Alright, Elite. When you die, we get 2 relics. You gotta make them good. I hate this scumbag. We did not draw setup. So we gotta adrenalize. Let's adrenalize this little man. That takes our need for block down to 10. I feel like we adrenalize early because we need a card draw. Can we kill one of these gremlins? Yes, you're dead. Then Orichalum gets us covered here. We definitely Noxious Fumes. We could concentrate into a Bouncing Flask Choke. You know what? I don't hate that. Let's do that. Concentrate. We choke our way into a Bouncing Flask then. Little suboptimal in that some of our damage hit the fat gremlin, but what are you gonna do? The guy's a wide target. That gets the gremlin horn and then faces the gremlin. Homeboy's coming to avenge his fallen kin. Wait, the gremlin is missing a horn. Chat, you may be onto something here. I think the gremlin is coming for his fallen bro. Right, let's prepare because I don't like our hand here. Make a strike. Well, we could skewer the small gremlin. We can't really set up a skewer because it just takes energy, so we're kind of boned here. So I think we strike you. How much damage do we need on this guy, actually? Hold on a second. Oh, he has armor. Yep, alright, so we hit you, and then you get skewered. Get skewered, fatty. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to poke fun at your weight problem. I'm sure it's a glandular issue, Mr. Gremlin. New gremlins on the field, but that's okay. Adrenalize, we got our dash and Noxious Fumes back here is slowly doing work for us. So really all we need to do at this point is just defend. Defense is enough to get us home. We've stopped all the incoming damage this turn. I think we just go ahead and strike. Keep piling damage on the gremlin boss back here, and we're going to let Noxious Fumes do the work on the little guys. Let the fart cloud and the reek pump forth and do the work, chat. If you got the smelly farts, use them to your advantage. Like when you're at work and somebody comes up to your desk and you know they're about to ask you to do something, if you can see them coming and drop one particularly bilious fart right before they get there, they'll run right away. So we definitely want to weaken this guy. That saves us a truckload of damage. In this case, I think we might choose to defend here. We're not going to be able to get to fatal damage with anything. Yeah, that's good fun. We're gonna take a bit of a hit here. And by a bit of a hit, I mean we're gonna get fucking ruined, but yep. This is gonna hurt. 24. That don't tickle. We gotta get some of that back. We got a lot of damage incoming this turn as well, but we can still get off 2 survivors and a strike. I think we survivor, mill that eviscerate. Let's go for the defend. Gets us up enough to cover their damage, and we can throw a meaningless strike at the gremlin leader. It's not just fumes that's doing all our damage. Alright, little gremlin is dead. This hand sucks. Well, we definitely neutralize because we want to keep this man weak now that he has +9 strength. Dash is 10 damage. We're not getting... Yeah. We could concentrate all this away and have nothing. That's a strike. We're actually okay. This guy's gonna die, and we're still doing really good damage to the gremlin leader. Oh, that's it. Skewer gets us home. If we skewer him, he drops dead. It's enough to get us there. Oh, I don't care what everything else is. Just skewer that man. We can end our turn. That gremlin dies from the poison. We walk away a winner, winner, chicken dinner. Alright, so we beat an elite and we only lost 24 HP. Overall, pretty good. 33 gold, pen nib. It's alright. Anchor is actually one of... It's, I think, an underrated relic. It doesn't seem exciting, but starting every combat with 10 block can be a big damn deal. Another skewer plus, very funny. No, we need card draw. Skip all of that garbage. We need card draw, though. Card draw.